Alright, hello, this is my guide with full Torva. My Void solo will be afterwards. Well, the next video, but this is my setup. I'm using the Vampirism Aura instead of my Penance, because a lot more people have Vampirism. And I'm using the Scrimshaw of Strength, and I'm using a Vigor. Vigor is better with Torva because you have the defense, you can take the hits, which will help you, because then it won't be useless, because if you use an ultimate and then you have to eat, there's no point. Now what I do at the start of all my solos is I get full adrenaline first off the minion. I know it'd probably be better to get half adrenaline and then go to next, but I just like to speed up. Well, it doesn't really technically speed up the kills, but I just like to get her killed as quick as possible. Now I do use escape because once I'm using all my abilities, I really have nothing else that's good on cooldown, so I just use that. Alright, now the first I use Berserk Ultimate. That is what I use. Messed up a little bit here because I was targeting Fumus. Now in the start of a solo, you're going to want to pray Mage when you're far away and protect melee up front. And when she's about to do a There Is, do a Slaughter. And then turn Soul Split on while she's walking towards you. That'll heal you, you don't have to. Then turn on Protect Magic because she's going to hit you with a Mage attack. And then when you get face up, protect melee again. Now generally she should call Fumus right after an assault, like so. Then you're just going to want to go up to Fumus. Now, in this time, you can also, if you haven't used Freedom or anything, you can use Anticipation, so she can't pull you in, which will save you a lot of food and a lot of time. You want your sounds on. I kind of forgot to turn my sounds on. But when you are fighting her, sometimes she will say it, but it won't show, so you want to be able to hear it so you know and you're not just hitting a bunch of zeros. Another way to tell is if you go to the Combat tab, and you hover over her percentage of HP, it will, if it's at a 9 percentage, that means she's called. Now right here I use Soul Split while she's doing Embrace Darkness, Fear Darkness, because right there that's free health right there. You don't need the Protect range at that moment. Now you're going to want to hit once, sometimes. If she just barely throws off a shadow at you when you're up close like that, you can get 2 hits in, and then you're going to want to run away. And I accidentally get hit by a shadow soon. But that's how you take care of the shadow phase. It's relatively easy. Make sure to avoid all shadows on the ground. Now, killing Umbra is kind of a pain, because you have to make sure that doesn't happen to you. There's me getting hit by a shadow. So you can put bleed effects, you just want to make sure that you have a good amount of health. That's why you see me eat a lot and eat over full HP, because the blood phase is quite a pain. So only put bleeds on, really, if you're good on adrenaline and HP. Now at the start of a blood phase, and I get a mask right there, I like to use Anticipation for the reduced damage, and then I go into a Berserk and get one of Decimate, Sever, or Kicks out first, and then I get my Adrenaline Potion and start out with an Assault, because obviously Assault's your best bet to go with first, because it's your most damaging. Now the reason why I use Flurry instead of Destroy is because Destroy is a little glitched out right now. If it caps at 3k, it will stop working, so it doesn't do too well. See, like right there, I hit 3k, and a stop. Now this took me 2, which is the per usual, so it's not too bad. Generally when you get around, if you can't get past blood phase in around 4 calls, you might barely make it if you get on the 4th call. And you do have to be quite risky during blood phase, because you need to get as much damage out as possible. Also, another good thing with Flurry is it is a AoE ability, so if you're near Reavers you will lower their HP, which will help you a great amount. Now whenever Crore is called, I switch to my shield, so I take less damage, and I'll have my shield abilities ready for blood. Now the thing to know with blood phase is what she calls before you start ice phase matters. If she calls a Siphon, that means she will prison you first. If she calls a blood sacrifice like right there, she'll do a contain this first, so keep that in mind. Now what I do in this one, I don't generally do, but it's something good to do. I think it really matters on how much HP, so this would be better in Torva than in Void. Now as you see there, use Anticipation. Anticipation you should always use instead of Freedom. Freedom will screw you over so much. Never use it. And you get with Immortality you also get the benefit of a Resonance, but obviously I used it a little bit too early, so I only resonanced a mage attack, which is 182. Now in here, I run around the corner so I don't have to worry about containing this at all, so you're good on the contain this. Then I like to get a slaughter, kick out, which is why you have kick on there instead of backhand. Now when you see the ice on the ground in ice phase from a contain this vanish, always use anticipation. Don't wait any later, any earlier. That is when you're going to be able to make sure you eat instead of having to use freedom. A lot of time you see that my prayer does drop. This is what I hate about using anything other than penance, is that happens a lot. And later on you're going to want to make sure to keep your bleed effects for the minion, because pretty much with killing the minion you want to get as much bleed effects out as possible, like slaughter and stuff. And as you saw there in the prisons, I like to use a resonance, so I'll get hit, but the next hit won't kill me if I'm really low and I can't eat in time. And as you can see, I'm saving my bleed effects because I knew she was going to call. Now with the minion, you're always going to want to get all your bleed effects out. If you're at half bar, this is the only time you should do this, is use a slaughter, and then adrenaline pot, and anticipate, and you should be full adrenaline for that prison. So you'll be perfectly safe. I wait a little bit in there, so I get longer on barricade, which helps out a lot. And just get every ability you can. Don't even wait. Just get every ability, kick, whatever out there. This is going to help you a lot more than having to take a prison or contain this. Because contain this is worse than a prison if you get hit by it up front. It'll freeze you for a couple of seconds. And yeah. Now during the Zeros phase, instead of just, you can eat and you'll stop attacking. But I don't like to eat. Instead I'll just walk underneath her. That way I know I'll stop attacking and won't do any auto attacks back. And always make sure I never do solos with auto retaliate. Not a good idea. So pretty much when you get a mage, her magic attacks hit very high. So if you get a resonance off a mage attack, you're very good. It saves you about 2 pieces of food pretty much most of the time. Now you'll see that I go to dual wielding for massacre. Now I don't know why, but I took a lot of damage. You can just see that I keep taking damage. Generally, if you want to lower the amount of damage you'll take, just switch to your shield. I mean, if you don't have a massacre, pretty much doesn't change much at all anyways. Just, if you use slaughter, don't switch to your shield, because then your massacre does. If you use a massacre, don't switch. Right here I froze. So I got really lucky to survive right there. I thought I was dead. I froze for like 5 seconds on 2k HP. As you can see, I switched to the shield because I was sick of taking damage, and I got really lucky because I avoided a 3k hit, which was really nice. Now, when she's about to die, either it's an assault or slaughter pretty much. Just switch to your Ring of Wealth. Yeah, you won't get attacks out, but you'll know she's dead. Then switch to there, deactivate your aura, and you're pretty golden. You got a Magic Seed and Leet, and teleported. And at the end of everyone, you should also put food back in your yak so you get quicker banking times and you get there quicker. That's it for Torva.